Come on and tell your neighbor, catch the fire. Catch the fire. Catch the fire, but catch the right fire. Don't let the fire of hate burn you up. The fire of hate can burn you up. You lose your fingernails, you lose your toenails, you lose your hair. When you first started, they tell you you look like heaven. And after a period of your hate, they tell you look like... The fires of hate can burn you up. The fires of love can burn you up too. Yes, they can. Some of you here in love, raise your hand. God bless your children. God bless you on fire. The fires of love and the fires of hate, but don't mix the two up. Don't confuse the two. They don't go hand in hand. Somebody tell you, I love you, but I hate you. They don't love you at all. That's hate going on there. And it's a problem deeper than with you. Let's look at 2 Samuel 13, verse 14. But Amnon wouldn't listen to her. See, up in verse 12, she'd cried, "Oh, Amnon," she cried, "don't be foolish. Don't do this to me." Turn to your neighbor on your left and ask him, what is that about? Don't you don't understand? But he wouldn't listen to her, and since he was stronger than she, he forced her. Listen now, this rascal. Then suddenly his love turned to hate. And now he hated her more than he had loved her. "Get out of here," he snarled at her. Remember Nat King Cole used to sing that song, and if I just had another chance, I'd never make that same mistake again. Looking back over the slate, I can see where love turned to hate, and if I just had a chance, that's our subject. I can see where love turned to hate. Amnon is in love. Amnon is in love. Amnon is in lust. Amnon is in lust. And there's a difference. And the fire of love will give heat and light. The fire of lust will just give heat. Sisters, if a brother tell you, "I'm burning for you," you got a fire extinguisher quick. Amnon is a rascal. It didn't just start in this episode today. They had watched Amnon. He's the oldest son of his father, King David, the second king of Israel. King David knew, I've raised a rascal here. Amnon would never obey his parents. Amnon was just a wild kid. You don't understand it, but Amnon had some kind of chemistry that couldn't see anybody but Amnon. And now Amnon is in love. Amnon is in lust. Amnon is losing weight. Amnon is just hungering. Amnon is in lust. Make it worse, in lust with his sister, Tamar. Oh, I know technically it's his half-sister. But when are we going to stop this stuff of half-sister and half-brother? Ain't no such thing as half. Either you my sister or you ain't. Either you my brother or you ain't. All of us have the same father. All of us have the same DNA. All of us come from the same parents. Ain't no halves. Time magazine recently revealed that all of the Chinese came from Africa. Now, anybody look North Pole, South Pole like an African and a Chinaman, I'm telling you, if we are kin to each other, then all the rest of us are kin to each other. There are no halves. God says, I am your father. You are sisters and brothers. You don't mistreat each other and call yourself a half brother. There ain't nothing half about love. Either you go all the way or you go nowhere at all. I'll tell you where the half comes in. You are a half-wit, Amnon. Don't you know that you can't take a human being against her will? You can't force yourself upon another person. Did Tamar flirt? First of all, it doesn't matter. Because if her skirt is up to her navel, you ain't got no business putting your hands on her without her consent. Secondly, Tamar is a virtuous woman. She doesn't flirt. She's a queenly type of personality. She dresses as a queen and she carries herself as a queen. She is the daughter of David by another mother, of course. Technically, they are half, but she does not give him any reason for treating her as less than a human being. I guess the young generation would say Tamar is tight. Tamar has it going on. Tamar has style. You know, Southern California women have a lot of style. Southern California men have a lot of style. They'll dye their hair fuchsia or something and run their eyebrows across the nose. It's one thing to have style, but it's another thing to have class. Them hoochie coochie women up on Wilshire got Reverend Green and I were coming out the hospital up near Wilshire, and one of them hoochie coochie mamas say, "Hey, baby, don't you want some?" And Reverend Green said, "Some what? What's she selling?" She's a virtuous woman. With a brother like this, they have godly parents. At least now David is godly. It just proves that godly parents can produce wicked children. Don't get ulcers when you've done the best you can, parent. There's something else in the mix. Grace is not biological. Grace is not inherited. Grace is not in the DNA factor. But it seems like wickedness is, because this boy doesn't get the best of his father David. He gets the worst of his father David. You remember David commits sex sin, then he commits murder. And Amnon seems to pick up on the worst of that. I think we could have made it if it had not been for his cousin Jonadab. sometimes we get in a concert and a consort with evil. Amnon says to his cousin Jonadab, oh, I'm in love with her. Now, you know that's your sister. That's what he should have said. He should have said, come on, let's go swimming. Or let me get you a glass of ice water. Or let's go out and run around the woods 2 or 3 times. Let's find a way to burn off this lust. But he helps Amnon plot. Pretend you're sick. And he didn't have to pretend because Amnon really is sick. Very sick. Very sick. And you just go in your room because you're losing weight, lusting for this woman. They have what they call a 7-year itch. And whenever we have premarital counseling, we don't talk about 7 years. We talk about 65 years. You're going to be married to this man. You're going to be married to this woman for 65 years. And y'all going to have some problems. We have to have an understanding for 65 years. You ain't getting married for 7 years and then you're going to start itching for somebody else. You getting married for life. Amnon has a 7-year itch. And Jonadab encourages him, I'll work with you, and then we'll get her in that room together. Amnon thinks she's going along with him. You know, when you're wicked, you think everybody else you meet is wicked. If you got a friend who is narrow-minded and they think everybody's narrow-minded, you need to get a new friend. If you got a friend that doesn't see any good in anybody, you need to get a new friend. Some people are wicked as all get out, and they think everybody else is just as wicked as they are. I got news for you. We got men under this roof who would never take a woman against her will. We got men under this roof who would never call a woman a bitch. We got men under this roof who would never call a woman a hoe. They respect the mama. They respect the sister. They respect their women. We got different kind of men. He grabs her. He has great upper body strength. For thousands of years, men predominated over women because we were in the jungle phase and the man had upper body strength. Some of the men haven't forgotten that upper body strength should be in your mind and not in your muscles. Even today, in some couples, we have the man who says, now thumping his chest, I'm the man. Well, if you have to thump your chest to know you're a man, you need to go take a good look at yourself. And being a man doesn't mean you predominate over a woman. You may have greater physical strength than a woman, but history seems to prove that you sure don't have any more spiritual strength. You sure don't have any more mental strength. And a woman tends to be smarter than a man until about age 40 or 45 when the man catches up with the woman. And the only reason he catches up is because of the significant women in his life, his mom and his sister and his girlfriend and his wife. So how do you get on talking about, I'm in charge of you? He grabs her and seduces her. While he's tussling with her, she appeals to his sense of shame. You notice she doesn't appeal to his sense of sin because he doesn't have any sense of sin. She's watched Amnon grow up. This man has no sense of sin. He'll do anything he's big enough to do. And so she doesn't appeal to his sense of sin. She appeals to his sense of shame. You don't want people talking about you, that you raped your own sister. You don't want people saying this about you. She even tried to trick him a little bit. Why don't you go to Dad, go to the King David, and he will allow you to marry me. She knew that couldn't be because the law of Leviticus 18:7 forbids intermarriage within the family, forbids sex connotations within the same household. She knew better. But he takes her. And look what he does. Listen to this verse. But he wouldn't listen to her. Then suddenly his love turned to hate. And now he hated her more than he had loved her. In the original Hebrew, he hated her with a great love greatly. And he calls the servant, put her out. I won't even touch this filth. Put her out. Now she's to be shamed because the servant's going to tell it all over, and they're going to be talking about her all over town. She goes to her brother's house, Absalom, where Amnon is David's firstborn. Absalom is David's favorite. Absalom has character. Absalom is so pretty that when he passes by, the women throw flowers at him. Absalom is not like David. Absalom doesn't forgive. Absalom doesn't forget. Absalom tries to make her feel better. Well, it's in the family. But he says, I'm going to get Amnon if I have to wait. As you read your scripture at home, he waits 2 full years and he finally kills Amnon. I want you to take a look at how hate escalates, how it goes from one, David is all mixed up in the head. He knows my son, my firstborn, has done wrong, and I hate what he's done, and I don't want to hate my son. Absalom hates him enough to kill him. The poor girl now, she feels that the whole town is hating her. Amnon doesn't have any hatred at all or any love at all because he has only hatred. We want you to see it. Amnon has self-hatred. Anytime you tell somebody, I hate you, you're really telling them, I hate myself. You can turn to your neighbor on your right now and say, I love you. Tell them. Look how easy it comes. Now turn to your neighbor on your left and say, I hate you. That ain't even in our culture. That ain't even in our culture. After all of the discrimination we've had, we're not going around here hating people just because they're another color, just because they're another ethnicity, and anybody you find like that is crazy. It's crazy. He hates himself. Now, he was hoping that Tamar would join in this complicity. He was hoping because then he could blame her as well as blame himself. But now she fought it. She fought it tooth and nail, and now he has nobody to blame except himself. Long as you can say, my mama did, my daddy did that, but sooner or later, you can say mama may have, papa may have, but blessed is the child that has his own. You have no excuse for being a monster, because if you were raised up in a jungle, here is a Garden of Eden. God will always send you somebody. He had a last chance to repent. Amnon could have repented. I'm sorry, Tamar. I apologize, and I'll make it up to you. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I'm sorry. But instead, he did what so often we do. He found an excuse. You caused it. You caused it. I hate you. He could have repented even then. And how could he have repented? Well, the next time you and I face hurt, the next time you and I are tempted to hurt somebody, before you go too far, have a little talk with Jesus. Have a little talk with Jesus. It's just like when you can't sleep at the midnight hour. Roll out your bed and fall on your knees. Brother, the next time you see a sister that's told you no, say, oh, Lord, have mercy. Turn me north while she goes south. Sister, the next time you see a brother, you know that rascal is no good. He ain't working. He ain't got nothing. He don't care about nothing. He got children he doesn't take care of. His character is bad. He's smoking that stuff. He's drinking too much. But my love can change him. No, it can't. If he doesn't believe in God, how's he going to believe in you? If she doesn't have spiritual values, brother, run till she gets some. Try to expose them. But just remember, without God, you and I are Amnon. Without God, you and I are wicked. Without God, you and I yield to the impulse to feed ourselves and to starve others. Without God, this man in the cornfield with a bag, he's going to fill this bag with stolen corn. Tells his little son, you be my lookout. You be my lookout. Then the man looks to the north and the east and the south and the west. And just as he's beginning to pluck the corn, his little son says, Daddy, there's one direction where you didn't look. Oh, I did. Somebody come in. Oh, what direction? You forgot to look up. Look up. Look up. Look and live. Look to Jesus Christ and live. Resolve this moment. I will not hurt you. Tell your neighbor, I will not hurt you. Tell him even more, I will help you. If I can help somebody as I travel along, then my living, my loving have not been in vain, in the name of Jesus.